The Diary of a Certified Psychopath. 4th of October, 2021. Task tide. Sure, it's slower. No doubt it's heavier. Yes, errands might take a little longer to carry out, and indeed, whether sitting or standing, you're the world's widest target for a wild west wind. But when a super-stable, flat-bar steed, such as this classic trailblazer, or a contemporary Audax-attuned hybrid, or any of several million scrupulously serviced second-hand strays in search of a warm shed and their next loving owner, takes half the sting out of every pothole, crater, crack, lump, ridge, or section of hideously tamped concrete, there are simply so many around here that destroying the flow of this already ludicrously long sentence with a specific reference was essential. These errant autumnal ambles around Sussex's coastal suburbs become so much more rewarding. You rise from the saddle, not in a breathless struggle to conquer the 9th near-vertical climb, but because doing so, even on perfectly flat terrain, is probably the closest feeling you'll get to running on the moon, especially with all that westerly bluster in your favour. You can take it on a host of sneaky micro-detours that, if risked on a regular road bike, would likely result in serious damage or a total write-off. The rider will be none too well off either. Instinctively, you sling it down streets, around crescents, up avenues, down closes, or, God forbid, along cycle lanes that you've never explored or utilised before simply for the hell of it, knowing the journey will always be more comfortable and give you that much more time to react to whatever hazard might await, be it a 10-foot branch blocking your way, or 3 rambling pugs off their leashes, or that kid swerving his reckless way home on a souped-up scooter, and all this whilst still beating at least 80% of the traffic. In summary and wintry conclusion, it's like walking, running and cycling all at once. 5th of October, 2021. Self-collection and delivery. A fair way to travel for your favourite form of non-carbon, carb-based fuel, prepared by your favourite branch of a restaurant franchise specialising in flat, round, dough-based sustenance. It sure as hell felt longer than 30 kilometres. Though the fact that a cyclist saddled with a 15-kilogram Thai trailblazer, grinding along at barely 13 miles per hour into a 20-mile-an-hour headwind with a partially loaded backpack can still repeatedly be held up in traffic, calls into serious question both the merits of automotive conveyance and the efficiency of this country's transport infrastructure. The 6th of October, 2021. The season of good chill? Luminous veils of powdery cirrus shying away in humble awe at the sun's dazzling incandescence. The distant twinkle of our resident ice cream van, chiming out a charmingly restrained rendition of Greensleeves, and the advanced atmospheric analytics dynamically accrued by our hyper-climate-conscious Met detectives, boasting of local temperatures touching the high teens, all briefly conspired to disguise autumn's conspicuous character. But on rounding my ride's opening bend onto Harbour Way, I observed a Union Jack tugging relentlessly at its pole, and sensed a subtle sting beneath the balminess. Not the corrosive chill of a vampire's embrace, still a far cry from the breed of chill that warrants a forensic study into the thermo-evolutionary fabrics of optimal layer composition, and some way short of a 3-year-old insulated gilet with RAFA logo worn off due to accidental spin-dry chill. Nonetheless, chill enough to sap the snap out of every muscle that mattered to this cyclist from roughly halfway into a strikingly familiar route. I shan't expound at length, since there was little to distinguish this outing from recently preceding duplicates, other than from one solitary walker whom I sighted between Upper Beeding and Small Dole, lugging a fully loaded co-op carrier bag. I didn't know either village had one, a co-op, that is, not a carrier bag. Suffice to say, also, that the slog up our old devil's satanically steep sibling Sister Saddlescombe was a sporadic farrago of postural transitions and cadences, despite her recent and atypically smooth resurfacing. and that fast twitch-friendly dig out of King George VI Avenue heading south, just after your fibres have been frozen solid by a 60-plus kilometre descent into a valley that somehow eludes every shaft of sunlight throughout every season. How I loathe it! The 7th of October, 2021. De-virtualized? Trying to replicate what would have been a steady C-category recovery ride around Zwift's fantastical incarnation of Eastern rurality. In reality. Imagine that. Simulating a virtual activity conducted within a wholly fictional animated construct in real life? What on earth is off-season training coming to? I even present you with a choice of GUIs. First, a fashionable and contemporary HUD, replete with the traditional array of stats, dynamic data overlays, and biological telemetry borrowed directly from two of the fitness industry's most popular indoor platforms, who wish to remain anonymous. And the second, a tastefully retrospective implementation of a classic and far more practical verb-based point-and-click interface, complete with authentic colour scheme that is certain to arouse feelings of profound and fond nostalgia within fans of adventure games throughout the late 80s to mid-90s. The distinct advantage of the latter, as any familiar with the aforementioned, is that your jersey will have infinitely capacious pockets, whilst your saddlebag and panniers will be spacious enough to transport 5 spare bicycles and a portable coffee shop. Suggestions welcome.